Welcome to Get Ripped Collectibles.
Gator Dave, what's up? How you doing?
What is up? My name is Mike. I am well. I am quite well tonight, ready to start a new week after the rough week we went through last week. Not where I wanted to be. You did take care of business, beat me by 2, and I don't have my little ribbon up at the top. You'll notice it is gone. So we are
Yes.
tied up. Once again, we are tied with no ribbon. So,
No medal
all
to
right.
see, baby. No medal to see.
No
Yeah.
medals, no
Why? Hey,
medals.
while
So,
you while you're talking about it, let's go ahead and throw that recap up there, Dave. Let's just let's check it out real quick.
okay, go ahead, throw it up there, Mikey.
Yep. Let's throw it up there for the people. So you'll see the ones that you and me agreed on. Not so hot this week, Dave. Not so hot.
You mean the ones we agreed upon last week aren't good? Weren't good?
Yeah. Not great. Not great.
No. So we notoriously suck together. You could say so, and we can see that got a couple pushes
Pause.
on there. I think I was 3-7-2, which would have put Mike 5-5-2, right? So definitely respectable, Mike. Respectable in that regard. But
Is it?
Gator Dave, Gator Dave sucked. At least you're 50-50, I mean, goodness gracious. I hate
Yeah.
losing records. Losing records suck, but that's where we were. So we do want to thank everybody who subscribed last week. I think we picked up a few more subscribers, so please subscribe to the show. We would love that. So you can check in when we get rolling every single week here at 7:30 on Wednesday nights now, so that you can place those wagers and watch the Thursday night game and not worry about us getting in the way, right? So again, remind everybody down there at the bottom, Mike's got the ticker going, and that's the order at which we are speaking tonight in terms of the game, so you can kind of see where you are if you're viewing the tape version or the video version on later in the week. You can see where we are there. So that's kind of where we stand. You ready to get this thing started here, Mike?
Yeah. Let's get it rolling. We got 12 games. You go ahead and lead us off.
All right. Hey, I do want to remind everyone, you know, we like folks in the chat. We got Public House in the chat. We got Ian Gleason in the chat. Thanks for being there, guys. You got questions, concerns, comments, throw them out there. As long as you don't talk smack about FSU there, Ian. All right, here we go. So our first game, the infamous Texas State is at Louisiana. So Texas State comes in with a 4-1 record. Louisiana is 3-2, and Louisiana is favored here by 2.5. So I haven't quite figured that out yet. I kind of like the roll we've been going with on Texas State, but we'll see how that goes. So the Bobcats 4-1 against the spread. Texas State's 4-1 against the spread. And Raging Cajuns are 1-4 against the spread, so not too hot. So I'm still trying to figure out what Vegas is thinking here. Texas State's beaten Baylor, UTSA, and Nevada. Louisiana has beat Buffalo, lost to Minnesota, and Old Dominion. In terms of putting points on the board, Texas State Bobcats have averaged 43.4 points per game. As a unit, they're averaging 203 yards rushing, giving them 20th ranked in the country. Not too shabby. The Bobcats have earned 24.45 total yards over the course of the season. Overall, they're conceding on defense 431 a game. It's quite a bit, right? Which puts them 118th in the country. So big offense, defense not quite cutting it. The Raging Cajuns, my boy Billy's old school, currently sit 32nd in the country, holding an average of 35 points a game. 452 yards per game, which ranks 32nd in D1. They are giving up 29 a game, which has them ranked 96th in the nation. I can't figure it out. I'm sticking with Texas State all the way here, and I'm going to say they're going to keep it rolling, and give me those 2.5 points in this situation. What say you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. Ultimately, you got T.J. Finley, the transfer out of Auburn, like you mentioned, been absolutely balling for Texas State. They were up last week 42-10 on Southern Miss. Southern Miss ended up coming back in the second half, made it, somewhat look like it was a game. It wasn't at all. They have an absolute stud at running back in Ishmael Mahdi. He's averaging 9.8 yards a carry, has 488 yards and 9 touchdowns, like you were saying. Absolute monster. Their offense is electric. And then a look on the opposite side, Louisiana, they have 3 guys in the run game that really kind of can get it going. They can make explosive plays. Last week against, they had 235 yards on the ground. I like the shootout here, Dave. I like the shootout. I think it's going to be high scoring. Give me Texas State plus 2.5. Not so fast. Not so fast, Dave. Not so fast.
You mess with me, man.
Now, I do like the over 68, but I'm on Texas State plus 2.5 with you.
Yeah.
I think the offense is too much. It's just too much.
Yeah. They're killing it. I mean, this is the best team besides Colorado that got built from the transfer portal. And by the way, we need to say hello to our boy Scott Crawford, who is at work, by the way, but he's watching us. Scotty, good to see you, buddy. And Don Play is back with us again. So glad to see you there, Don. And we'll keep this thing rolling. So next game is the mighty University of South Florida down there in Tampa is favored by 3 over UAB. USF is 3-2. UAB is 1-4. UAB's played some teams though. Both teams are 3-2 against the spread. South Florida's won 2 of their last 3 games against Navy, Rice, and they held Bama to 17. That was where they got all their notoriety, right? UAB's lost their last 4 games. And UAB held Tulane to just 3 of 10 on third downs. Came up with a couple of fumble recoveries. Kind of got lucky. Offense really lost steam at halftime though. So not real impressive. Yeah. Did we bet on that game?
Oh no! I was reacting to Scott's comment. He in the chat. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, anyone think Miami will ever be in the lead here? Miami might? No. We'll give him
and
that.
I was saying I believe in me. Yeah, it's happening this week.
You should believe in you, Mike. I'm so glad.
That's right. We have enough games this week that we disagree on. There could be some movement again. I mentioned it last week, and sure enough, there was a little bit of movement. Like you mentioned, you don't have that medal anymore, so
we'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes. It's been a couple years, but here we go. Let me finish out here. The Bulls, they've scored 38 or more points in each of their last 3 wins this year, so they're getting off to a fast start. The Blazers do kind of hang around, though. They tend to hang around. They hung around with didn't they play Georgia and kind of hung around a minute? Hanging around ain't cutting it. I'm going to USF to cover them points. Give me University of South Florida to cover those 3.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too deep on this one. I'm with you. South Florida, I saw a clip of Trent Dilfer going off on his coaches when they were down by 8 against Tulane last week, 28-20. And he was just snapping. They ended up getting like an illegal procedure or illegal substitution. And he was going crazy on his guys because they gave Tulane a first down, when they needed to stop him. But absolutely, I mean, it didn't look like a normal, get into you kind of thing. So I think there's a little bit of issues and tension going on there. It's going to be interesting how that practice was this week. If Dilfer didn't eat crow, I don't like UAB in this one at all. Give me South Florida. That quarterback is absolutely humming right now. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Doing a good job. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Next up is Colorado. We're finally going to bet on Deion's team. Colorado -4 at Arizona State. So Colorado comes in at 3-2. Everybody's child here, and Arizona State is only 1-4. Colorado's 3-2 against the spread. Arizona State is 2-3 against the spread. So if we compare how the teams done head-to-head, we've got a head-to-head game, Mike. We have USC. Both teams have played USC. Arizona State lost 42-28. The Buffaloes only lost 48-41. So Colorado has got a ton of injuries. They keep building and building and building. A lot of their stud players have had some pretty serious injuries. So obviously that's something to worry about. And they're not supposed to be very deep, right? This is a whole transfer portal team here, so they're not supposed to be that deep. The Buffs went home with a loss by 48-41 last week. We talked about that. Shadir Sanders connected on 30 of 45 for 371 and 4 touchdowns. He had a quarterback rating of 160 and ended the contest with only 1 interception. Sanders was also the rushing leader, which tells you, there might be a little bit of a problem in the backfield there, right? He had 14 totes for 50 yards. The Buffaloes are ranked 127th in total defense. Not too good, allowing 36.2 points a game. Now, Arizona State, on offense, the Sun Devils averaging 332 yards per contest, ranking them at 111th. Mike, you know how many quarterbacks this team has used this year so far? Good guess. It is 4. You did your research. They've used 4 quarterbacks, and our poor Jaden Rashada, Moneybags, he's not doing that well. All right, the Buffaloes have had a pair of tough matchups, obviously the last couple of weeks, right? And the losses are quite understandable for a rebuild team. Now they come to play ASU, trying to find themselves again, back to where they were the first 3 games. I think this one's easy money. Give me prime time to cover those 4 points. What do you say, Mike?
I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you here, Dave. I like Colorado -4 also. You got to think, that loss last week at home against USC left a sour taste in their mouth, especially after being down 34-7, coming all the way back. That was impressive for them to fight like that till the end, despite the injuries like you mentioned. So, yeah, I think the Buffaloes are going to beat the brakes off of Arizona State in this one. Yeah.
This was an easy one. This was a gimme. When you said, go find me another one, and I found this one. I knew it was
Well, when I looked at it early in the week, it was the line is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 points. Like I get it's at Arizona State, but it's very, shaky. So, but yeah, ultimately, I think Shadir Sanders is going to go off. That's another 4 or 5 touchdown type game right there for him, I think.
Absolutely. So it's going to be a good one. Hey, we got more folks in the chat here, Mike. We got Kilo G. He says, go Buffs. He's on our side there. And we got McZachary, Dave, and Mike. Hope you guys are doing well. We are doing fine. Appreciate you guys being in the chat. We got like 11 watching, so keep them coming here, guys. Can we talk about tonight's game? I'm lost on what to pick. Is there a game tonight, Mike, on Wednesday? Are we missing something?
I think it's Middle Tennessee State playing Jacksonville State.
On a Wednesday night, maybe we'll do some side research on that while you're rocking there. So keep it coming, guys.
I saw Ian said in the chat Ian threw out there that he's going to the UCF Kansas game this week, so he was looking for some feedback there if we had time at some point.
Okay. All right.
So keep that one in the back burner. All right, next one we're going to talk here is Rutgers, Wisconsin. We're going Big Ten football, baby. And you're going to love this one, Dave. I just want to start off with that. You're going to love this, okay? So,
yeah.
Rutgers, led by the former Miami Hurricane national championship assistant coach Greg Schiano. They're off to a great start this season, Dave. They're 4-1. He's got them clicking. Definitely a surprise team of the year for those who just casually follow college football. Out of those 5 games so far this year, they're averaging 16 points a game in the first half, Dave. Their opponents are only averaging 5 points a game in the first half. Mind you, these are against good opponents. It's not just all pushovers. They've played good teams. On the opposite side, you got Wisconsin. Up until 2 weeks ago versus Purdue, really, really struggled in the first half. Wisconsin is a fantastic running team. They're expected to take a big step in the passing game this year with Tanner Mordecai. They kind of switched it up. They were going to go to more of an air raid type style. Hasn't really happened that way yet because their running back Braylon Allen is an absolute baller. Dude's a Heisman contender. He's got 6 touchdowns, 422 total yards in 4 games on just 68 touches. He's going to be a problem in this one, but the bad news for him and the bad news for Badgers fans, Rutgers' rush defense is legit. I think they're able to slow him down enough in the first half. Give me Rutgers. Give me Rutgers +7 in the first half. Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Go Scarlet Knights.
You're so meticulous, Mike. We instead of Miami Mike, it's meticulous Mike. I mean, he digs down and finds those little nuggets. I mean, what a nugget. I love it, Mike. So by the way, Don Playas, he's on my side here. So, like you said, Rutgers, pretty good record. They are 4-1 against the spread. Wisconsin's only 2-2. Rutgers 10th ranked defense in the nation. Wisconsin 43rd ranked offense. They're coming around. Scarlet Knights are 6-1 against the spread as a favorite. They're not favorites in this game, Mike. They are 3-5-2 as a dog. The team does tend to take care of business when expected, playing the rough teams, right? But bottom line, they struggle when they've got some competition. I think Wisconsin's on the move. I'll be honest with you, out of all the games, this is probably the one that's most concerning for me. But I'm going to go ahead and take them Badgers to cover 14 points at home. I'm going with Don Player here and saying we don't get the Badgers going to take care of business.
I love it. I love it, Dave. Good little showdown right there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Meticulous Mike, that's where you are. All right. Next game to your division, your mighty ACC. We are going, Gator Dave like this game. So we're going Syracuse at North Carolina. North Carolina getting 8 points in this game. Over-under is only 58.5. That might go somewhere. All right, let's see what we got here. So Syracuse comes in at 4-1, Mike. They've only lost 1 game. Carolina is 4-0, so they both only won 4 games. Hughes is 3-2 against the spread. The Tar Heels are 3-1 against the spread. So both done well against the spread this year. Syracuse against Purdue had their first loss last week at Clemson. So they lost by 17 at Clemson. So everybody was all about, Syracuse and what was going to happen. But I knew, and this is the game, Mike, we didn't bet that I wanted to bet. Remember that? Remember when I said I'd like this game and I got shut down because I already had my games picked. But so North Carolina, big wins against App State, South Carolina, and Minnesota. So they have played some okay teams. We talk about putting the ball in the end zone. The Orange, hold an average of 38 points per game. They're sitting at 18th in the country regarding opposition scoring, allowing 14.8 points per game, allowing 2.7 yards per rush, and 96.4 rushing yards per contest. When it comes to the Tar Heels, they're ranked 34th in the nation, 35.8 points per game. They're only allowing 22 points per game, which was their issue last year, defense, right? And that has them at 46. Granted, it's early, but defense is looking a lot better. UNC's going to push the ball down the field aggressively. We know that. They're going to get to the red zone multiple times. Drake May's the bomb. May and Hampton have become more of a threat in the end zone, the receivers. So despite the strong start for Syracuse, they're not going to be able to keep up with UNC. Place your bets on the Tar Heels to cover that spread during the home game, following a bye week. You know, I mean, this one's easy, Mike, and I really, really please hope that you're thinking the other way and you go for the orange on this one, because I think this one's a Gator Dave lock. Give me the Tar Heels in this situation, Mike.
That makes me feel good, Dave. Those Gator Dave locks weren't the best last week, so all right, here we go.
Week every once in a while, but go ahead.
All right, so if you looked at just touchdowns and interceptions, you would say that Drake May is having an off year, right? He's got 5 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, I believe. But you look at his completion percentage, it's 72%. He's making the throws. The problem is the deep ball. He lost Josh Downs. That was kind of his go-to guy last year to just kind of chuck it up and go get it. He's having some issues there. That's where some of his turnovers have come from. They're just wide receiver. They haven't had that guy that's going to step up and be that guy yet. As crazy as North Carolina's defensive line started off with those 9 sacks against South Carolina week 1, they're only averaging about 1 a game since. So they've had a nice little drop-off in production. I think Syracuse is able to apply some pressure early here in this one. I think it's a bounce-back kind of game for them in a game last week against Clemson at home. Very disappointing how that one went for them ultimately. They had a lot of issues where they just kind of kicked themselves in the rear and didn't really bounce back in a good way, kind of got run all over. I think this is also a potential look-ahead spot for this Tar Heel team because next week there's a lot of talk about an undefeated primetime matchup in Chapel Hill against the Miami Hurricanes. College game day might be there. You know, it may be getting to their head a little bit, Dave. You don't know, all right?
No.
So give me the over in this one, Dave. I want the over 59. I think Syracuse is going to be able to have some success early. I'm looking like 14-17 at half. And then North Carolina ultimately kind of pulls away, wins something like 37-24. Give me the over 59 in that one, Gator Dave.
You did say 37-24, and if my math serves me correct, 37-20. That's 13 points there, Mike. So you would probably be going, yeah, they might can win by 8.
Potentially.
But I'm with you.
Potentially.
I think it's a good call. Yeah. And I'm really disappointed you didn't take Syracuse. But go ahead.
That's all right.
I think it's a good call.
There's plenty others that will probably be head-to-head on, so all good.
All right. Let's go. All
right, next game we got here is Iowa at home against Purdue. Another Big Ten matchup. I'm not going to dive too deep on this one. We're going to keep this one short and sweet. Last week, Iowa gave up over 150 yards at home to a Michigan State team that has been really struggling. That's what they gave it to on the ground. Purdue's top 2 running backs have a combined 113 rushing attempts for 567 yards, averaging 5 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns a game between the two of them. You throw in quarterback Hudson Cards, 3 rushing touchdowns this year, and this team is up there with any in the rushing department in the top of the country. Cade McNamara, the transfer from Michigan, he is out for Iowa in this game. Their transfer backup, he's from Wisconsin, buddy.
Yeah,
they're not very great in the
played
quarterback position.
He was by Mertz.
Yeah, they're not very great in the quarterback position. So
Oh,
go
play
ahead
him
and give me the Boilermakers to go in there, get the cover, and I think they might even get the outright win there in old Iowa. What do you think here, Dave?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I was going to have a rough time. So very inexperienced backup quarterback coming in to an already bad offense. Now probably even worse. But we can't ignore Iowa's defense. So we know it's always good, always has been a force to be reckoned with. Purdue's coming off a moral boosting of 44-19 against Illinois. So they're kind of back on track a little bit there. So I kind of get your deal as to why you think Purdue is going to win the game.
They had a garbage time touchdown last week that, didn't matter at all for some of us. But
so last season, Iowa took this game 24-3. And Purdue was actually better last year than they were this year. Iowa's now probably a little worse, but 4 times straight, the under has been prolific in this series over the last 4 years. So Gator Dave is going the under 39 in this particular game, sir.
All right. Right on. I like that. That's a good pick.
And I agree with yours. So I think we both could be cooking with crispy oil in that game. So all right. Public House he's got all kinds of stuff going in there, his emojis. All right, next game. We're going to the SEC. So we've got LSU going into Missouri. LSU is favored by 6.5 in this game. LSU's 3-2. They have lost 2 games already, so they're pretty much done from the big picture. Mizzou is undefeated, 5-0. LSU 2-3 against the spread. Mizzou is 3-2, so they're pretty much got a neck and neck there. LSU lost to Ole Miss, lost to FSU, wins over Arky and Mississippi State. Mizzou's big win was by 3 over Kansas. The rest of their wins have been okay. LSU. The problem at the moment is the defense can't stop nothing. The Tigers are ranked outside the top 100 in both EPA per rush and EPA per pass allowed. The top 100. That means they're worse than freaking the Gators were last year.
That's pretty bad.
Bad. You could make an argument that they played 2 of the best offenses in the country, though, right? Ole Miss, Florida State. Yeah, Ian, if you're on there, you got a pretty good offense if your boy can stay up. But they also gave up over 300 yards to Arkansas and Grambling. So that is about a shit defense. Jaden Daniels obviously comes in averaging 10.4 points per attempt, 91.1 PFF passing grade, which is pretty damn good, 414 yards, 4 touchdowns against Ole Miss. Not too bad. They have to rely on his arm. Obviously, they're going to have to rely on his arm on Saturday because Missouri's pretty decent on defense. I have watched them closely in a few games. They've got a couple of – unfortunately, got a Gator that's playing linebacker for them that's probably going to go in the first or second round of the draft, unfortunately. But the defense isn't bad. LSU's been running the ball with success. Again, it goes to their offenses look good. Missouri isn't allowing much on the ground, so I think the Tigers can combat that just a little bit. They've only allowed 2.9 yards on the ground, 13th in EPA per rush allowed this year in the country. Missouri comes in undefeated. Brady Cook, the quarterback, he's had a great season so far. One of the most underrated quarterbacks, in my opinion, in football right now. 10-point yards per attempt, 81.8% adjusted completion margin. He keeps improving week over week, so he's looking good. And it's scaring me in terms of the Gators are going to have to go up there and play against this guy, unfortunately. It also helps when you got a receiver. I got a receiver. His name's Luther Burton. He's for real. His PFF is 93.6. He's caught 43 passes for 641 yards and 5 touchdowns. He ain't playing. I think this game is going to look somewhat similar to the game last week that LSU was in. Yep. So that's why I'm going to take the over in this game, over 64 points in this game, Mike. I think Missouri's going to give them a battle. If I were to have to pick a team, man, that 6.5 points is kind of tough. I think it's going to be a close game, 7 or less. But I just think it's going to be a freaking offensive bonanza. So yeah. Give me the over.
All right. Yeah, like you mentioned, LSU's defense has really struggled. They're giving up 36 points a game to FBS opponents this year, but they are averaging 41. So the offense is doing their job, but like you mentioned, defense is really, really struggling so far. Missouri also, like you mentioned, Brady Cook, that Luther Burden connection is real. We mentioned Burden a couple weeks back in the show. We've mentioned him a couple times on here. Dude's an absolute stud, averaging 128 receiving yards a game. I think he goes off on this one. Just like you also said, I think you hit this one to a T. Just like you also mentioned, against Ole Miss, LSU gave up a couple big plays in the passing game. I think that happens here as well, especially to Luther Burden. He's kind of got explosive play all over him. Go ahead and give me the over here also, Dave. I'm with you.
Awesome. Well, hey, real quick, want to remind everyone to please subscribe so that we can keep things rolling here. Keep reminding you guys that we're out here. We're having a blast in what we're doing right now and enjoying what's happening every week. And want to try to feed you guys as much good information as we can. But please subscribe, like the video, and let's move on to the next one. We're going to stay in the SEC, Mike. You got this one.
Yeah, we got Texas A&M against Alabama. Alabama's favored by 3. It's at Texas A&M. Couple key points for me here. Alabama's offensive line has given up 3 sacks a game right now. That is not the Alabama offensive line that we are accustomed to seeing under Nick Saban. Texas A&M's defense, on the other side, is averaging 4 sacks a game right now. Texas A&M also handled Arkansas last week. They got over 150 more total yards, despite losing the turnover battle 3-1. I think A&M has the better O-line. I think A&M has the better D-line. I think A&M has the better receivers. Give me Texas A&M at home, Dave, to end Alabama's run at a national title. Also, because I just put a live bet last week on Alabama to win the national title. I think it's at like plus 3,000 or something stupid like that. So I know for a fact they are going to lose this week, and it'll be out the window. So go ahead and give me the Aggies to cover the 3, get the win at home. Fight Aggies, fight. Whatever the hell they say down there in Coltville.
Yeah, so, I'm right there, Mike. So Jimbo, the last 2 years, right, against Alabama, he beat them 2 years ago when they came to Aggie Land, right? And last year he only lost by 4. That was last year. If you remember, last year we were questioning A&M. They had a worse record, or the same record as the Gator. It was like 6-7. I don't even know they go to a freaking bowl.
Yep, they were awful.
And they were horrible. And Bama was better.
Yep.
Okay, so that's kind of looking back, right? So A&M's going to try to force Milroe to throw the ball. Guess what? He can't, dude. He's not getting it done. All they're going to be able to do is run the ball. Milroe's not going to be able to throw the ball. And let me go to that stat. It's funny. I only got 3 things I'm talking about. Sacks. The Tide's given up 10 sacks already this year. The Tide. And we're not even halfway done. Texas A&M's had 10 sacks already. So what the hell, man? You know, sorry, Tide ain't rolling this week, guys. Give me them Aggies. Give me 3 points. Give me them Aggies. They're probably going to win outright, but I'll take 3 points in a minute. Aggies and freaking Ian's Jimbo is going to freaking take it again.
Love it.
Mm.
Love it. The year of the shakeup in college football.
It is. It's a fun damn year. It's going to be one of the funnest years ever. And ironically, we're about to go to Pac-12. That poor league is got some of the best teams going out there, and they're about to be nothing next year. They're right now the Pac-2. So, all right, let's talk about Washington State at UCLA. So UCLA is getting 3.5. And I see Mike back there fat and happy thinking UCLA is the bomb. But here's what Gator Dave's got to say. Washington State comes in 4-0. UCLA's 3-1. The Cougs are 3-1 against the spread. UCLA only 2-2 against the spread. I kind of like all that, right? So Washington State, big wins over Oregon State and an anemic Wisconsin. UCLA's big win this year, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
San Diego State. San Diego State. They're garbage this year. They lost to Utah 14-7 and played like crap against a Utah team that is playing their third string freaking quarterback. All right, in terms of scoring, Washington State Cougars hold an average of 45.8 points per game. They're ranked 73rd in the nation in terms of opponent scoring, giving up 25.5 a game. The Bruins sitting at 54th, maintaining 32 points a game per contest, surrendering only 11 points per game. So their defense is pretty good. But remember what I said, their big win was against San Diego State. They hadn't played crap. I'm telling you, I know right now UCLA's favored 3.5. They're playing at UCLA. That don't mean shit, and that no one comes to those games anyway. But the QB is for real. Wazoo QB's for real. This game, I'll take it. Give me those 3.5 points, man. This is another gimme. Washington State's gonna win this outright. Give me those 3.5. What do you say, bud?
Yeah, I mean, you look at UCLA's numbers, right, and they're real impressive on offense, on defense. If you just look at numbers on paper, they look real good. But like you mentioned, 2 weeks ago against Utah, really, really struggled. They had only 9 rushing yards as a team when normally they average over 200. They gave up 7 sacks against Utah, and they're giving up 3 a game. You look on the flip side, Washington State. You mentioned Cam Ward is balling. They were actually up 35-14 last week against Oregon State. A lot of people had Oregon State winning that game. Oregon State ended up getting it kind of close in the second half, but it was over, kind of early in that one. For me, I'm with you. I'm gonna go Washington State. You look at who UCLA has played, and you can kind of see why their numbers are the way they are. 2-3 Coastal Carolina, 2-4 San Diego State, FCS North Carolina Central. Granted, they are probably one of the best in the MEAC, and they'll probably be in the playoffs in the FCS, but it's still an FCS school. And then you got Utah 2 weeks ago, like you mentioned, on their third string quarterback. And they couldn't get more than a touchdown. I mean, they really, really struggled. UCLA did. Give me Washington State to cover this one, and I think actually win this one outright. I think, especially, have you seen the stuff with College Game Day in Washington State?
Oh, it goes back for 30 years.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
they go
no, no, no,
back.
no, 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 no. I'm not talking about the
You're not
flag. So
talking.
there's like a
Oh,
no, there was like a disrespect type thing where the coach had said something about game day, and like Ryan Leaf, the old quarterback, he said something about
yeah.
game day and about Herb Street, and it flustered him. And then McAfee ended up saying something live on game day, basically saying like Washington State sucks. You're lucky we're talking about you, kind of deal. So I'm
Really?
just saying, if I'm the coach, I'm taking a page out of Prime's playbook, and I'm
Yeah.
saying, hey, we're gonna make them talk about us, right? So give me Washington State. I'm with you. I think they get it done.
They absolutely will. They absolutely will. Hey, you guys in the chat, we got about 6 or 7 folks out there. You guys have anything to say? Give us a yell out there. So, we are going to move now to the Big 12.
What?
The Big 12 / SEC, right? That we're about to move to, Mike. You're going to take that game.
Yep.
It's
So we
the
got
new NCC.
this is gonna be probably the best game of the week. So I'm excited to talk about this one.
Absolutely is, and I already know this. We're going to go opposite on this one, so I'm looking forward to it.
No, you
Go.
don't. No, you
Let's
don't.
go, baby. Let's go, baby.
All right, so we got Oklahoma playing Texas in their annual. What do they call it now? It used to be what, the Red River Shootout. What do they call it now?
Red River Shootout. Red River rivalry. Now it's a rivalry. We have to be.
PC,
Yeah.
PC. It's for the children, Dave. It's for the children. Mind them. All right, so in this one, Oklahoma, just a side note, not against Texas specifically, but Oklahoma in general has won 5 straight against the spread. They're on a streak. This is also a revenge slot for Oklahoma. Texas blew the doors off of Oklahoma last year, 49-0. But, Gator Dave.
What?
But they didn't have Dylan Gabriel last year, Gator Dave. They didn't have him. And also that defense had not fully bought in.
UCF prodigy.
That's right. That is right. The Josh Heupel recruit of the
30
century
years
of the
old.
future.
30
all right?
years old.
Now, another major thing, that defense had not fully bought into Brent Venables. He's no BS kind of coach. You're going to either get with it or get out kind of deal, right? Year 2, you look at that defense, they are clicking now because they have bought in. You look at Dylan Gabriel. This man is a Heisman front runner, throwing an insane 75% completion percentage. We actually talked about it last week, if you remember, because you brought up your quarterback, said he was the best.
Yeah, he had a high
He kind of wasn't, but that's okay. He's
still
throwing
does
for
have
nearly
high
1,600 yards, Dave. Nearly 1,600 yards, 15 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. And he's also got 4 on the ground that he's been able to run in. I have Texas as a playoff team. I had them in the playoffs in our preview show. But you could argue that this Oklahoma team is the most complete team that they faced all year. And they did play Alabama at home. We did already speak on them, though, in their woes. I think Oklahoma has a chance to win this one outright. Ultimately, I think Texas is probably going to get away with one here. I think they could sneak it out in, 38-35 type of fashion, just, on a field goal at the end.
That's only 3 points.
That's only 3 points,
So
Dave. You're good at math, buddy. Oklahoma +7 is the play. Thank you, sir.
Yes. You
Yes.
go with those Sooners and that grandpa quarterback.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Tell me why you like Texas, sir, because it
Here's
sounds like
what
I
we
know where
got.
you're at.
All right. As odd as it may seem, the biggest concern for the Sooners coming in the game, it's the offense. It's not the defense. The OU passing game has been prolific under Gabriel, but the running game has got a lot to be desired. And we're talking about next year's 12 teams that are going to be in the playoff. These 2 would be in there next year, right?
Yeah.
So, but they're having,
Probably.
and you got to have it all together, right? And their running game blows. has shown the propensity to struggle a little bit under duress, and maybe during with Venables, recreated defense, he might face a few blitzes, might have some problems. Now this will be the Longhorns' first real test, as you said, because you said Bama wasn't anything. So, but now we've got the Sooners coming in. But when doing my research, most folks want to take the Sooners. As I looked around, a lot of people want to take the Sooners, like Miami Mike did. But I saw the Sooners play against Cincinnati, an okay team, and they looked okay against Cincinnati. Texas has a much bigger, better, stronger team. Give me the Longhorns to cover 7 points in the Red River rivalry.
All right, I like it. I think it's gonna be a great game.
It is. It will be the game of the week, in my opinion. No doubt about it. Our two teams coming to the SEC. All right, let's roll. Let's roll. Stay in the current Big 12. So we've got TCU -6 at Iowa State Gamblers. The Iowa State Gamblers, right? So TCU comes in 3-2. Iowa State.
Hey, one guy. You see, you can't just say that. One guy just got found not guilty. They threw it out.
Really?
They threw it out for the tight end. Yeah.
So the tight end's cleared. The running back and the quarterback are still
off a stipulation because he filed. He didn't want to do a pretrial kind of thing, and they were supposed to file an indictment within a certain time. They didn't do it, so it's out of there.
Call that a technicality, Mike.
That's right.
All right. So TCU wins over SMU, decent team. Houston sucks. They did West Virginia last weekend, which is a little bit concerning. Iowa State beat the mighty Oklahoma State team, the Cowboys. They're rocking it up there this year. They did lose to Ohio, Iowa, and Oklahoma. All right, in terms of scoring, TCU Horned Frogs averaging 34.8 points per game as a team, 193 on the ground, which is 31st in the country. They're ranked 43rd in the nation in terms of opponents scoring, allowing 21 points per game. So not too bad on defense either. That's kind of the way they've been, but obviously we got Sonny in there, so he was more of an offensive guy. Iowa State offense, 236 yards of penalties on 27 infractions. So they're a little anemic / retarded, maybe. I don't know.
Whoa, Dave. Whoa. Hey, I want everybody to know he said it. He said that.
That was not.
That was what he said. All right. Whoa, Dave.
Did I say turds? All right. They were turds.
Whoa.
I just said Iowa State was turds. 81st in the country in terms of giving up. Not good. When it comes to teams' ability to score points, Cyclones are 1-4 out of 132. Not good. They don't score too many points there, buddy. I'm gonna take my TCU Horned Froggies to cover that 6.5 points at Iowa State. What say you, Mike?
How is that preseason Big 12 bet? How do you feel about that? Is that still? Do you still think that you have a shot there, or is that looking?
Mike, I'd call it a snowball's chance in hell. Repeat, snowball's chance in hell.
All right. Well, we're still rooting for you. And I think
if somebody would have placed the right bet last year, it would have been $400. But he's probably gone to bed, right? Public house gone to bed. Go ahead.
Poor Public House. He tried, Dave. All right, so my key points here. Iowa State has a major issue establishing a consistent run game so far. It's really kind of shot themselves in the foot and put their quarterback in some tough spots. They do, however, have a defensive back, Dave, named Jeremiah Cooper. 4 interceptions on the year already. So he's balling. The bad news for the Cyclones is TCU's offense doesn't really turn it over too much, and they are averaging over 500 yards a game. 193 of that is on the ground. It's just going to be too much offense, I think, in this one. I think the over has a little bit of potential at 52, but I'm going to take TCU minus 6.5 here. So I'm going to rock with you on the Horned Frogs.
Good call, buddy. Good call. Good call. All
right. So going into our final game.
Next game's close to home. Close to home.
Yep, going into our final one, I just want to remind everybody again, please like and subscribe if you are watching and you have not already. Jump in the chat, jump in the comment section. It helps with the algorithm, helps us out. We really appreciate you, and we want to hear from you. All right, so last game we are talking is going to be Kentucky, Georgia. We talked Georgia, Auburn last week. We were pretty spot on with our recap and kind of how we saw it going. They just weren't able to kind of get it done to get ultimately the cover. But Georgia did end up pulling that one out. They are still undefeated on the year. However, Dave, their first half problems and first quarter problems still very, very prevalent. I will say Georgia's second quarter, they are good. They have one of the best. If you look at the numbers, second quarter, third quarter, awesome. That first quarter, Dave.
Ridiculous, Mike.
Not so much. Not so much, Dave. So, yeah, you're going to like this one too, buddy. Kentucky is averaging 18 points scored in the first half on offense this year. 18 points in the first half of game. If you've been watching our show, you know very well that UGA has been struggling in the first half. They've started very slow. They're averaging 6 points a game per half under this powerful Mike Bobo-led offense. Having said that, Dave, I'm going to take Kentucky plus 7.5 in the first half. I think that they're able to keep it close. I think that their run game is able to get something going here early. And if I think they're able to limit their turnovers, they got a shot. They got a shot at maybe upsetting Georgia in this one. Georgia needs to give Brock Bowers the ball in any way, shape, form possible. Put him on punt returns. Put him at running back. Put him at linebacker and have him go strip sack the quarterback. Dude needs to touch the ball. That dude is an absolute monster. He's a game changer. I think Georgia wins this one just like last week against Auburn, but that slow start scares me. Give me Kentucky in the first half, man.
Yeah, we're definitely not going conventional in this game, Mike. Either one of us, as I see it, I feel actually feel pretty good about my bet here. So here's the deal. So Georgia's offense, we just know it's not clicking yet. You know, you got Brock Bowers and you got Brock Bowers and you got Brock Bowers, and then you're kind of milking it along.
Yeah.
Kentucky's defense is actually pretty decent. They're ranked 19th in the nation. You know, they haven't played that great of a schedule, I'll be honest with you. I think Georgia's gonna bottle up that rushing attack, you know, with that kid just tore our ass up last year. Because I think if they can do that and they key on the rush, Devin Leary is not going to do shit against Georgia.
Oh, stop it.
No, trust me. He didn't do anything against us, bro. How's he gonna do anything against Georgia?
So just to clarify, you're talking about the running. You're talking about the running back that just went for 280 yards against y'all last week. That's the guy that you're talking about.
Georgia's defense might be a little better than Florida's, and they're gonna
in the second half.
Gonna key. Trust me, they're gonna key on on that running back. Make Dipsy dude Leary try to throw the ball, and he's just not going to get it done. Okay? Yeah. And that's how it's going to roll. And it's going to be a low-scoring game. Kentucky's not going to score over 10 points. Okay? Mark that down. And Georgia, if they score 30, 32, because Kentucky's defense is decent. We've talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
So give me the under 48.5 points in this game.
All right.
The
I like
under,
it.
Mike.
Hey, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think Kentucky is probably going to score 10 in the game, but I think it's going to be in the first half. And I think Georgia's going to score 30 in the game, and it's going to be in the second half.
If it's
so
not in the second half.
Yeah.
Hey, we all over the Georgia is not done. Navana is freaked out at halftime.
Oh, they'll find no. Georgia will find a way to win this game. It's going to be just like Auburn. It's going to be just like Auburn. It's just going to be like every other game that they've played this year. They will find a way to win the game at the end.
Yep.
They're going to get everybody riled up and pacing in their living rooms. Relax. Georgia will be fine.
Yep.
Maybe.
They will. They'll win the game.
Maybe.
But
in the second half.
All
right. So we got our 12. I'll throw up the recap here. Gabe, I'm going to give you a chance to look at that UCF Kansas game that Ian was asking us about real quick.
When is that damn game? That's later.
It's Saturday.
Hold on a minute. I'm having to flip stuff around so I can see my screens here, guys. Sorry. UCF Kansas. UCF Kansas. Sorry, here we go. So what we have here is, oh my goodness. So it's UCF at Kansas. Oh, that's right. The quarterback for Kansas is out. Right? He got hurt. Didn't he get hurt? Is he playing? That's a question. So it's 1.5.
Hey, Bean's pretty good. His backup.
Kansas. It's 1.5 to Kansas right now. If the other kid's playing, I think it's no doubt that Kansas covers with the other kid playing. But Bean's been. What is it? What's the kid's name? It's Jalen Daniel. It's almost like the. It's almost like the same name as the kid from
the guy for LSU.
Yeah, they almost have the same name.
I like the over there, Dave. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I could easily see that one being like a 42-28 kind of game for UCF. Ultimately, I think UCF has a good shot at getting it done. Like you said, if Kansas quarterback, starter was in there, maybe. But
well, hell, then it'd be more.
I think there's going to be some points.
Back injuries, misses practice. What's the point? What's the point total? What's it saying? Over
60, 68. If that sounds right. Somewhere in the 60s.
That's a lot of damn points.
Yeah. All right, real quick, while I got the recap up. So we're both on Texas State. We're both on South Florida. We're both on Colorado. You were on Wisconsin. I got Rutgers first half. You were on North Carolina. I am on the over in that against Syracuse. You were on the under in Purdue, Iowa. I am on Purdue. We're both on the over in LSU, Missouri. We're both on Texas A&M. We're both on Washington State. You're on the Longhorns. I'm on the Sooners. We're both on TCU. And then you like the under in the full game of Kentucky, Georgia, and I got Kentucky in the first half.
So we've got
that's what we're looking at there.
We differ on 5, but there's
gonna be potential movement. I'm telling you, second week in a row, baby. It's happening. You better.
You go, baby.
I hope you did your research, Dave.
None of them are like head to head, except for missed it. The one game. There was one game that were like
Oklahoma, Texas is a true head to head.
Yeah, that's true head to head. Everything else is Mike trying to manipulate things. You guys got to understand that it's meticulous Mike over there. He does a good job. So let's talk real quick. Gators play Vandy. They're favored by 18.5. God, it'd be great if they covered. All right, back to you, Mike. Canes at home against Georgia Tech, favored by 20. What do you think?
I like it. I think we got a good shot at covering. I'm not going to bet it, but I think
That's
that
a
game
lot
could
of
easily.
points.
I think that game it's going to end up like 38-13. Honestly, we're wearing all black. It's a night game. We got a bunch of big time recruits that we've been trying to flip for months. Jeremiah Smith, the 5-star that's committed to Ohio State, he's going to be there with his teammate Josiah Trader. There's some big time recruits coming to this game, so it's a big time game. Our guys are fired up. Mario's finally letting them wear the all black Miami Night unis. I don't know if you've seen them yet, Dave, but they're
I have
neon.
not.
Oh man, they're sweet. They are sexy. So you got to check those out. They got the cleats, the helmet. I mean, it's gonna look nice at night. We're gonna put up 40 easy on Georgia Tech, I think. So if I had to go
Yeah,
one way or another, I would, but I'm not touching that game. I'm just gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia Tech's been just, up, flip flop, flim flam, up, down. By the way, Miss Linda, appreciate you coming on board there in the chat there. So, Florida, just so you know, against Arkansas, first time ever, we're gonna have black unis against Arkansas coming into the swamp. So
Ooh,
pretty excited
interesting.
about
Is it gonna be
that.
black on black, or is it gonna be black on the white that y'all got?
I think it's gonna be all black.
Interesting.
It's not gonna be black and white.
Well, y'all had those one jerseys. There was like that poop brown gator skin jerseys in the Tebow
the
days.
Gator skin, that didn't go that didn't go over well. It's been like no, thank you.
Yeah,
so now
little
they're gonna go
brown.
black with Arkansas. So I'm definitely looking. That'll probably be the next game I go to because I'm not going this weekend. And Arkansas, it's sometime in November. I guess the next Florida game, we're going to the cocktail party there, my friend, right?
Hey. Speaking of, we got to talk about that off of camera. We gotta figure some stuff out. But
We do.
anything you want to throw in here, Dave, before we sign off, sir, for week 6?
No, great participation from all the folks came online today, and thanks for last week was our best week ever on views. We had 90 views, broke our record on views. Want to keep that up. We appreciate everybody coming in and viewing our content, and like and subscribe, and it's another good week. Got to hold my head high after the poor showing from last week, and keep my fingers crossed and all that kind of good stuff. So look forward to another great week in college football, Mike, and go Gators.
Go Canes, baby. Go Canes. We're going to stay undefeated. Primetime matchup next week, Dave. College game day. For potential, the front runner to play in the ACC championship is the winner of that game. So, hey, no pressure, right?
I like it, Mike. All right, folks.
Playoffs are possible. Playoffs are possible.